Hi, Denny Johnson here, and recently we placed a survey on the Rayid International Facebook group, and the survey had a question. The question was, in a few words, more if you like, give us what you feel would be the primary cause of disease, suffering, and death. I wanted to really get a feeling for what other people had to feel about this very important topic. There was a wide range of responses. Some of you who read it, well, you know what they were. Stress, fear, separation, you name it. Ego, food, relationships, family, nature. There was a lot of answers. And I thought I would like to just, well, give you my take on it today. Now, that doesn't mean that whatever my opinion is better than anyone else's, because everyone there was right. They have their experience, they have their feelings, and I've been considering this topic for quite some time, and I, at this moment, have something I'd like to share. And my way of experiencing it now is a different kind of answer that I might have had a few months ago even. And my answer is, it's something like a simple little metaphor that I'm going to draw for you symbolically. And what this is this is a circle. And inside this circle I put a bunch of people. Well, yeah, that's all these little symbols and things, and oh yes, one of them's me, and I'm not going to tell you which one. All of these individual little symbols, they are, well, all of us. And we live inside of this place. And the interesting thing about this place that we live is that it has it has a natural feedback system. This feedback system is a constant circulation, virtually bringing back to me the results or consequences of anything I do. And what I found is, if I do something that is more kind, more real, more authentic, more sincere, more loving, then there is a result that comes from that. This delivery mechanism also delivers to me experiences of many different forms about whenever I'm doing something that's not loving, it is rebounded to me, and you might call this the law of cause-effect, you might call this something else, but I'm using a name I've learned, which is called, it's a law of compensation. That is, it's a payment plan. It's a feeding back to me what it is that I'm doing, and the result of this is it's primarily directed to my physical body. Which means anytime I have a particular ache or pain or something that caused me suffering, or I develop a disease or issues with my heart or liver, it means that I'm doing something or holding something that is now causing me damage. So in a way, this black circle is a boundary. I consider this now to be a boundary of love. So for me, everything that's happening inside here is actually the result of love. I know that's odd to consider that that actually happens, that my own artistic way of living that I like might actually be doing something that's damaging to myself or someone else. So there's a natural feedback system constantly feeding back to me and creating my own suffering. So this system is based on a system of love. Now, that in itself would be remarkable because, well, I consider it to be a gift, to be alive. I consider it to be an act of love, that my soul has an individuality and an identity. I don't comprehend it. I barely am able to occupy it and feel it, but I consider the very nature of my existence to be a gift of love. I don't always know where it came from or how it operates, but I do consider that. So how is it that my experience in this field that comes from the experience of love, that I find myself in an environment of experiencing pain, when in reality what it's actually doing is training me how to be more loving? So if I have pain in my body, it's the result of me doing something unloving. Well, it's obvious that there are some things that are not loving, such as, hitting somebody over the head with a baseball bat, or this is, for me, like a playground in the park, and we're all children playing in the sandbox, and we're learning not to throw sand or steal each other's toys, or, simple basic things. So we're learning how, in this sandbox of life, to become more capable of higher and higher degrees of love. So for me, this is a loving opportunity to learn how to become more loving. So this boundary actually has the possibility of other parts to it. This is a sequence where there is actually another boundary. I call these the boundaries of love. In order for me to go to the next level of the playground, I must first learn how to be responsible for where I am. That if I have a tricycle, maybe I can learn to share my tricycle. And if I have an attraction for someone, I might learn not to, tell them not to go over there and talk to that other person. So if I'm engaged in an act of jealousy or possessiveness or anger or reaction, or, all the normal things that we go through, including other ones that are not so obvious, like self-doubt, self-fear. Wow. Can there actually be boundaries that are based on the experience of some kind of a fear? That's what I'm exploring. That there are boundaries that we have. These boundaries, they have a natural series of types of lessons I need to learn. And each one of these areas, well, they have a specific series of things I need to do, which means there are exact forms of lessons in each one of these categories, and each one of these areas are things I need to learn, like how to be more loving to myself. That would be a nice thing to do. And what belief systems do I have inside me that might not necessarily be true? For example, I might think it's okay to hit the other kids with a baseball bat because, well, they're making mistakes, aren't they? And if I hold that to be true and it's not true, then I end up with a feedback system that hurts me. I might believe it's okay that my playground basically bombs the other playgrounds because, well, they're just different than me. So it's okay to bomb other groups or, well, kill other groups because obviously they're not part of our neighborhood. So, well, if I hold a false belief system about how other playgrounds exist, then eventually that false belief system inside me needs to change. What I mean is that all of us hold many false belief systems about something. For example, it's okay to spank your children because, well, the Bible says you need to spank them every now and then because it's good for them. I might sincerely believe that even with my religious faith, that it's okay to bomb people or spank children, but if that's a false belief system, then there's going to be an automatic thing that comes back to me to eventually cause me suffering and pain. And if I hold that belief system, it causes me to lose my physical body. What an intriguing thing, that every one of the experiences of every feeling I have, including those belief systems I believe are correct, are capable of being able to cause me damage in my own physical body, suffering, disease, and ultimately some form of passing from this world. I mean, that would be enough, maybe, but if I pause and consider that my behavior, my belief systems, my attitude, my feelings, they're actually going to be transmitted to my children, to my grandchildren, to my great-grandchildren, the consequences are now going to create for them their own experience that begins with pain, suffering, and disease? Wow. You mean the belief systems I hold can damage me for thousands of years? Is it possible I can hold a damaging belief system even when I pass from this world? Well, that's what I'm beginning to discover. I'm realizing that these boundaries, they have a whole series of interesting things to teach me. For example, what am I really obedient to? Well, one of these boundaries, just out here, it has to do with a whole series of things that I am basically afraid of. Yes, I know this is shocking, but I have found out I'm filled with fear. Lots of fears I didn't even know I had. So what is it like when I have boundaries of my capacity, boundaries of love, designed for me to experience my own fears? And how these fears, they're actually denying me the capacity to be able to receive higher and higher experiences of well-being, happiness, health, love, all of that. Because there's something that actually passes through. There's something designed to pass through me. Like a tree that absorbs light and air and water and nutrients, animals do the same, and we're always circulating these experiences. I'm circulating them up through my body, ascending and descending. All of this is circulating, but what if my fear, combined with my belief system, actually is producing a feedback on the law of compensation that causes me suffering? Why does this all exist? Well, for me, it exists because there is love. Now consider for a moment, if there was no feedback system, you could just kill anybody, bomb as many countries as you want, and poison anything, and there was no feedback system. You could just do anything you wanted. Wouldn't that be nice? We're just free to just kill anybody? Huh. Would that be a loving system to allow that to exist? Or is the more loving system a objective feedback experience feeding back to me by the law of compensation, pain, so I can tell when I'm out of the boundaries of love? To me, that's a loving reason for the existence of my soul, and a loving reason for the existence of the playground, and a loving reason for the existence of all of you. Because with each other we can learn how to do this one step at a time. So, just for now, this is my own take on the playground of life and why pain, suffering, disease, and death actually does exist for loving reasons. Later on, I'd like to have an opportunity to explain to you what I'm discovering about how fear relates to all of this. And yes, this may look something like an iris of the eye. Yes, it is. And one day, yes, I would like to show you how all of this fits into the iris of the eye as a means of being able to see the soul. So for now, thanks for dropping by. See you soon.